that 1 Corinthians chapter 13, the last verse, it says, faith, hope, and love.
Yeah.
But the greatest of these is what?
Love.
But hope is, faith is first. Hope is second. So, hope defined. Okay, it says hope is closely allied with faith. Okay, Hebrews. Let's go to chapter 11, verse 1. Thank you, Jesus. How do even animals? How do animals look when they've lost all hope? There's nothing there. When a person has lost hope, you look into their eyes. The Bible says that the eyes are the gateway to the soul. How do they look when they've lost hope?
Yes.
Empty on the inside. So there's something to hope. It says, what is faith? It is the confident assurance.
Yes. Yes.
Confident assurance that what we hope for is going to happen.
Right.
It's going to happen. So faith and hope, you can't have faith without hope, and you can't have hope without faith.
Yeah.
They're totally separate things, but they're so linked together that they're almost like Siamese twins. They cannot be separated. You can't have faith in God without having hope in God.
Yes. Yes.
You can't have faith in your fellow man if you don't have hope in your fellow man. Okay, I mean it's an ingredient. It's like you can't have fire without what? Oxygen and a fuel source, right? You can't have oxygen without what? What is oxygen? Or water? No, let's go with water. That's easier for me. Okay, H2O. Okay, hydrogen and oxygen. Okay, if I remember correctly, H2, two parts what? 2 parts hydrogen, 1 part oxygen. Okay, so even though they're 2 separate compounds, together it makes water. You can't have water without one or the other.
That's right.
Right? And so without hope, you can't have faith, and without faith, you can't have hope. But yet they're separate. Okay, and I'm going to explain what hope is. So hope is closely allied with faith. To the Christian, hope is the knowledge. Okay, so faith comes by hearing,
Yes.
and hearing by what? The Word of God. Okay, so but hope comes from the knowledge that we are being changed for the better as we trust in God's promises.
Yes. Yes. Good job.
That's hope. Okay? See, hope looks at, you look at the apostles. Alright? And you look at what they went through. Okay? Paul being beaten, being shipwrecked.
Yes. Yes.
Alright? And all that. But yet he still had hope. What was his destination? Rome was his destination. He had hope that he was going to make it to Rome. Why? Because God told him so.
That's right.
Thank you, Jesus.
God told him.
Right.
And same with the other John, the Apostle John. The last apostle to be alive. He's on the Isle of Patmos. What was his hope? The revelation of Jesus Christ.
Right.
That was his hope. So hope is the knowledge that we are being changed. How are we being changed? We've got to go through trials.
That's right.
The fire has to be, but yet in the same time, going through the fire kind of drains us of what? Of our hope. Okay? And so there's kind of, how does this hope get strengthened? By the knowledge of Jesus Christ. What's your relationship with Him? How often do you pray? Do you sing to Him in the morning all day long? Do you worship Him as you're going along? Do you even in your trials, in the storms that you're going through, when Paul was shipwrecked and floating out in the Mediterranean Sea, you think he was saying, "Oh, woe is me"? I am undone. Well, Lord, I thank you for this water that I'm partaking of right now. It's keeping me cool. Lord, I thank you for that great white shark that's eyeing me right now. That's was something else.
Yeah.
Okay? I mean, he knew that his destination was Rome. God had told him, and he had that knowledge, which was the hope.
Yes.
That anchor in Jesus Christ. God was going to get him there. So even when he was out on dry land, and he's warming himself next to the fire, and that serpent comes out and bites him on the hand, did he freak out over it? No. Shook it off. Why? Of the hope.
Yes.
Which was linked to what? Faith. That he was going to Rome and he was going to get there. Might have been the trials that he was going through was actually strengthening. You know, when the wind is blowing and the wave, and we saw, it's funny, you know, we could look out over the ocean and next to the shoreline was calm. Really calm, right? And where we were camping at, there wasn't much wind at all. But you look farther out, and you can see the white caps on the waves. You can see the wind blowing, and you see the fog coming in. I was like, look at that, honey. Look, you can see it. You can actually see the wind out there blowing. But when, as the wind is blowing, it's pulling on a rope, which is pulling on the anchor, which is pulling on the rock, securing that anchor even more. Even more. So the trials that we go through, actually, it doesn't tear us down, it strengthens us. It strengthens. That's what it's supposed to do. Even Jesus learned obedience. The Son of God had to learn obedience through the things he suffered. He had to. Even Jesus, you know, when Jesus stood up in the boat, of course, he had faith. He is the Word of God. All right? He's God in the flesh. But he was just as much human as he is God. And he had to have just as much hope as we have to have in what his Father said. He had to be anchored. He had to trust in God's Word. Even when he was about ready to go to the cross, he was in that garden. Oh, Father, if it be thy will, let this cup pass from me. Right? Lord, Father, can I pull up the anchor? Can I, you know, because at his situation, I mean, it's going to seem for him pretty hopeless. Lord, Father, can I just pull up the anchor? Can the wind just blow me away from this place? But he said, Lord, not my will, but thine be done. Lord, my anchor is steadfast in you. My hope is in you. My hope is in you. So, to the Christian, hope is the knowledge that we are being changed for the better as we trust in God's promises. Hebrews chapter 5. If you want to learn about hope, read Hebrews. I learned a lot about hope in the last 24 hours. More than I've ever learned in my entire life. Hebrews chapter 5. Thank you, Jesus. It says, while Jesus was here on earth, he offered prayers and pleadings. He pleaded, not just for himself, but for others, with loud cry and tears, to the one who could deliver him out of death. And God heard his prayers because of his reverence for God. Can you imagine God in the flesh praying to God in the spirit? Talking back. How many of you talk to yourself? I do it all the time. Listen to me, that's why. But I'm thinking out loud. And you can imagine Jesus, you know, the fleshly part of Jesus, not wanting to do what he's about to do. Okay? And so he's praying. And God the Father heard him. and gave him what? Strength to go to do what he needed to do. So even though Jesus was the Son of God, he learned obedience from the things he suffered. In this way, God qualified him as a perfect high priest. You weather the storm. You rely on the anchor that holds you. You rely upon your relationship with the Father. See, the problem is,
Thank you, Lord.
I'm getting ahead.
That's all right.
I'm getting ahead. So hope, let's go back to hope defined. Hope is the conviction that no matter the circumstances, God's plan for our lives are for our good.
Yes.
They are for, see, our hope isn't in the federal government. Oh, no.
No.
No, the federal government fails us. All right, and they've proven that time and time again. They fail. So to rely upon the federal government, no. To rely upon your friends, no. To rely upon family, no. Okay, but to rely upon God, yes. All the time. Romans 8:28 says, and we know that God causes everything to work together for the good of those who love God, who love Him, and are called. And that's see, that's the thing right there. You know, you talk to an old salt, they cannot stand land for very long.
That's right.
They can't. You talk to a fisherman. Once they'll tell you once you've done it, you got to keep on doing it. They love the ocean. They love it. They can't stand the land. Right? There's freedom out there. There's beauty out there. There's peace and tranquility out there. Right? And so we need our anchor. Let me get back here. My mind is like racing ahead. Thank you, Jesus. So it's the conviction that no matter the circumstances, God's plan for our life are for the good and not for disaster, to give you a future and a hope. That's what it says in Jeremiah 29:11. To give us a future and a hope. God knows what He is doing in our lives, and we can trust Him. We can trust Him. Okay. So, how does this hope anchor us during the storms of life? How does it work? And so, says the book of Hebrews tells us that we take encouragement from and trust in the character of God. His character. You look at man's character, and it's flawed. It's sinful. It's evil. That's why we cannot hope in man. We can't hope. We lose hope. You know, with what the Supreme Court has ruled, it seems hopeless. It seems desolate. What's that song? There's a storm coming. Okay. But don't run and hide. No. If you run, that means your anchor isn't secure. Okay? We've got to weather out this storm. This is going to happen. Why? Because God's Word says so. It says. That's why we can have hope. Nothing's new.
Right.
It's all written down here. It's not surprising when I heard that the Supreme Court ruled in favor of what they ruled. I don't even want to say it.
Right.
Move on.
Okay? It didn't surprise me.
Well, no.
Because God's Word says, as it was in the days of Noah, so shall it be in the days of the coming of the Son of Man. God told Noah that a storm was coming.
Right.
He was going to flood the earth, but what did He tell Noah? To build a boat. To build an ark. Noah did it, and Noah and his family was safe and secure. Their anchor was secure in the knowledge of his relationship with God.
That's right.
So, The book of Hebrews tells us that we take encouragement from and trust in the character of God. Let's turn to Hebrews chapter 6, here in verse 16. How can we trust in God's character? I want to start at verse 13. In fact, the title says, God's promises bring hope. Okay. Verse 13 says, for example, there was God's promise to Abraham. Since there was no one greater to swear by, God took an oath on his own name, saying, I will certainly bless you richly, and I will multiply your descendants into countless millions. So who's above God? Nobody. Nobody's above God. So God, when God could swear by no one greater, He swore by Himself that He would do this thing for Abraham. How many promises are there in the Bible for us? The Bible says, by His stripes I am healed. By His stripes I am healed. That is a promise from God written in blood. Can God lie? No. So God's character is secure. Right? His character is our anchor that holds. It cannot change. God cannot change. And if he did change, He wouldn't be God. He wouldn't be God. So then Abraham waited patiently. Okay? He waited out the storm. He waited some 25 years for the promise. That anchor held for 25 years for the promise to come. He says, and he received what God promised. When people take an oath, they call on someone greater than themselves to hold them to it. And without any question, that oath is binding. God also bound Himself with an oath, so that those who receive the promise could be perfectly sure, perfectly secure in their hope. The anchor holds. When God says something, He'll do it. Right? But see, the part of that hope is you've got to have a relationship with Him to have an anchor in Him. If you want to know God, you've got to talk to Him. He's got to talk back to you. If it's just a one-sided relationship, it's not much of a relationship. It's not. But if you're talking to Him, then He's going to start opening up to you and telling you what's going to happen in your life. And that's that hope that you have. That's your anchor. Okay. So those who receive the promise can be perfectly sure that He will never change His mind. So God has given us both His promise and His oath. These two things are unchangeable because it is impossible for God to lie. It's impossible. He cannot lie. Therefore, we who have fled to Him for refuge. Okay, so when we drop the anchor, what are we looking for? Refuge. Security. That's why that old salt went to bed. Play it, brother. Play it. That's why that old salt went to bed. He was secure in that anchor because the anchor held the boat so many times before. Thank you, Father. Hallelujah. We who have fled to Him for refuge can take new courage. For we can hold on with confidence. This confidence is like a strong, tried and trustworthy anchor for our souls that leads us to the earth, the heaven. Jesus has already gone on. See, that's why we have help. Because Jesus dropped His anchor 2,000 years ago. He dropped it. And He entered into the presence of God. And He's already weathered the storm. doing? He was dropping anchor. And he looked at that storm and he rebuked it. And what happened? There was a great calm. There was a great calm. He has become our eternal high priest in the line of Melchizedek. In other words, even when Melchizedek was talking to Abraham, Abraham had already dropped his anchor. Jesus showed up.
Thank you, Lord. Yes, that's good.
Thank you, Father. Hallelujah, Father. So, this is the part that we've got to watch. You go around, there's 2 points on the planet Earth.
Yes.
You go around South America, around Brazil.
Yes.
That point right there. You look at the beach. It's laden with ships.
Yes.
They call it a ship graveyard. Currents meet right there. And the oceans are violent.
Yes, they are.
Right? And then you go out around South Africa. Around that point, it's the same way. Currents meet from different oceans. And the currents are violent. What happened to those ships?
Oh, yes.
The anchor lost its hold.
Oh, shoot.
Hope derailed. We are in a spiritual fight for our hope. Okay, we are in a spiritual battle.
Hallelujah.
When our government fails us,
Oh, help, Lord.
okay, we tend to look at the government as a source of hope. And when you look at things other than God for your hope, your anchor loses its hold, and your ship can sink. It can sink. So hope derailed. What can cause our hope to go sour? Hoping in the wrong things. That's what happens. When you hope in the wrong thing. You hope in your job. You hope in your Social Security or your retirement. Nothing is secure on this planet. Nothing is secure. Things can come in. Our government can change at a moment's notice. They can declare martial law, come in here and put chains on those doors. What would we do? They got guns. You know, but our hope, you know, if we looked at our government for our hope, what will happen? Our hope will get derailed. All right? But if we keep our hope in Jesus Christ, if we keep our hope in the Word of God and His promises, what happens? It can't get derailed because God cannot lie. God's kingdom, see, and that's, turn with me to John chapter 18.
Hallelujah. Oh, thank you, Jesus.
And I'm starting to heat up.
Praise God.
John chapter 18, verse 38. Hallelujah. Thank you,
Thank
Father.
you, Lord. Yeah.
Thank you, Jesus.
Thank you, Jesus.
It says, what is truth? Pilate asked.
Yes.
Then he went out again. Let's see here. My eyes got caught. He went out again to the people and told them, he is not guilty of any crime. Okay. Maybe I put down the wrong. See here. 18, John chapter 18, verse 38. Oh, okay. See here. Anyway, I can't. It's not. It's verse 36. That's what happened.
Thank you, Lord.
Then Jesus answered, I am not an earthly king. If I were, my followers would have fought when I was arrested by the Jewish leader. But my kingdom is not of this world. That's why we can have hope in God, because His kingdom isn't here. This earth is going to pass away and everything else. His kingdom is eternal. Satan cannot touch God's kingdom. That's why we can have hope in Him. He's not a part of this. He's not a part of this earth. This earth is going to pass. This earth is going to get destroyed. All the government programs are going to fail. We know this. God has told us already.
That's right.
In fact, God told Abraham. How can Abraham have such hope? in his covenant with the Father.